Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can't Fly. Okay, so I'm about to take this flight, and one of the things that I purposely done for this flight is I am in an airplane, a Cessna 172, but it's one that I've never flown. The reason why I'm doing this is because I really want to sharpen my skills. Now, as you can see, most of the equipment is exactly the same, and it's laid out, but each plane has its own flight characteristics. And so although yes, I'm used to the Hobbs meter, the carburetor temperature, the EGT, and the six-pack laid out the way it is, I'm not exactly sure how this plane is going to perform, so I'm going to be anticipating some things, but the most important thing is I want to be highly professional. So before I get in this flight, I wanted to give a subscriber shout out to some new subscribers, to Dane S and Eric Mady, and all my peeps from Oberlin College. Definitely wanted to shout out one of my alma maters. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting me and supporting the channel. And so let's get on with it. Clear prop! Somebody behind me. Okay, so you see I'm looking around, I'm trying to figure out the comms, I'm really trying to figure out this whole six-pack and where things are located. I cut a lot of this out, but I basically wanted to draw your attention to the whole theme of this video, aeronautical decision making. I want you to listen to the weather report. I had a whole different plan before I heard this weather, so let's jump to that and you'll see what makes me decide to change my plans.
So COM 1, COM 2 basically.
Doylestown Airport. Automated weather observation 1931 Zulu. Wind 200 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition few 3,200. Broken 3,900. Overcast 2,000. Temperature 1 Celsius. Dew point 01 Celsius.
Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter flight because the ceilings are doing some interesting things. So what we're going to do is to kind of keep it short and simple. I was originally going to do a cross country, but as you can hear, that weather is not really favorable for that. So I still want to get a feel for this airplane. So what I'm going to do, so let's just do a nice little flight to wings.
So why the change? Well, when you heard those clouds, it said 3,900 feet broken. That is the cloud ceiling. Remember, I am a VFR pilot. I am not allowed to fly through the clouds. And so not only that, I have to keep certain cloud clearances in order to be legal. And so I'd have to be 500 feet below that 3,900 feet. Now, my original cross country, I was going to fly at 4,500 or 6,500 because I was flying west. Well, couldn't do that because that means I would have flown through the clouds, so not happening. So that's why I caught an audible and made an aeronautical decision and decided to do a different type of flight.
Alright, flaps are up, trim set for takeoff. Brakes are good. Doylestown traffic. Cessna 6086 Golf, departing runway 23 out to the southwest, Doylestown. Left, clear to the right.
Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but this video is kind of dark, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that the cloud cover is pretty substantial, and it is changing. It's like from the time that I first started talking to you to the time that I did my run up to now getting ready to take off, the clouds have moved in.
All right, I see 2-1, see 2-3 on the runway, heels to the floor, full power. Alright, engine instruments to the green, suction, oil temp on, pressure on, look good. Woo-wee, she's cooking.
I was smart enough and did myself a favor, and I looked at the POH before I took off in this plane. So I knew it had a bigger engine. This has 180 horsepower, but man, it was powerful.
This baby cooks. This baby cooks. This reminds me of Quebec Sierra, definitely.
And 901 Quebec Sierra was that airplane that you saw me fly at Wings all the time. The one was kind of like the lime green. That one had a beast of an engine in it as well, and it just performed like crazy. Well, this one rivaled 901 Quebec Sierra in that 180 horsepower engine made a huge difference. That thing was cooking.
Yeah, this baby cooks. All right. So I'm doing my climb checklist. I'm going to turn off my taxi light and landing light. Everything else is going to stay on. So you can see the clouds out there, and that's why I'm not going to fly too far. The ceilings are getting low, and so I'm mindful of that. So it's going to be a short flight. Just something to keep the rust off. Going to go up to 2,500.
All right, so what you see here out the window is a real opportunity for me to get into serious trouble. As you look out the front window, you see these ceilings. If that drops, I will find myself in basically instrument conditions in the clouds. I am not ready for that at all. So that's why I need to be paying a lot of attention to what's going on with these clouds.
I stay at 2,500. Yeah, I'm doing, woo, she's cooking. I'm so used to that 152, boy. These 172s feel like jets to me after that. Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 9 miles north of the field, inbound from runway 24 Wings. All right, so cruising here at about 2,500, just on my way to Wings. Gonna fly to Wings, land, taxi back, and come on back. Wow, this flies so nice.
Okay, so not to be overly dramatic, but I definitely want to explain why I talked about this being an aeronautical decision-making flight and what's really going on. Now, I was going to do a 65-mile cross-country flight to another airport to get more cross-country time. But when I heard the ceilings and when I looked at the weather report, I saw that these ceilings were going to be kind of low. I wanted to fly this new airplane and wanted to do some flying, but here's the deal. You see these clouds out here? This ceiling could drop on me and I could find myself flying through clouds, not being able to see things on the ground and not be able to make my way back to an airport. Now, pilots who have instrument ratings, they know how to shoot instrument approaches, or there are signals you can get or different ways in which you can fly approaches into runways. I don't know how to do any of that. So if I found myself in clouds, I would be in trouble. Yes, I could do straight and level flight. I would probably divert to somewhere where there's less clouds. But if I stayed in clouds for too long, I could find myself in a whole world of hurt.
Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 5 miles northeast of the field, gonna be straight in for runway 24 Wings. Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 5 mile final for runway 24 Wings.
And wings field traffic, Cirrus on runway 24. We're still more than 5 miles, so we'll be looking out for you.
Roger that. Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 3 mile final, runway 24 Wings.
Now, as you can see, as I come in for a landing or get closer to a landing, you can see the clouds are a little less robust in this area, but still, that's the thing. You have to understand what the weather is doing, because it can be so deceiving and you can be lulled into a false sense of security and find yourself into a situation where you can't really recover.
Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, landing on runway 24, short final, runway 24 Wings.
Field traffic, and the Cirrus is in the back of you, about 3 miles on final for 24 Wings field.
All right, it's always fun to come back home, back to my home field. Wings Field will always have a special place in my heart because this is where I did my flight training. All right, so speaking of flight training, let's see how this landing goes. Cue the music.
Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, clear of runway 24, taxiing back to runway 24 wings.
So after that beautiful landing, I then taxied back to the runway 24 to take off back to Doylestown. So, but yeah, you can tell I've been landing on that runway for a minute because I know that sight picture cold. So, but yeah, got myself set up. Let's go back to Doylestown.
Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, departing runway 24, be out to the north, wings. Alright, trim set for takeoff, flaps up, mixture is full rich. Alright, I see
6 miles to the north.
24. Alright, hills to the floor, full power. Alright, engine instruments in the green. Oil temp, oil pressure, suction all look good. Airspeed is alive.
Every time I take off runway 24, regardless of now I get to do it by myself as a licensed pilot, I will always remember the day, the first time I took off in my very first flight lesson. And just for, grins and giggles, I'll post that video up there. You'll see it flash if you're curious as seeing the first flight lesson that I ever took. It was such a scary thing, but now I just realize just how far the good Lord has brought me, and I am looking forward to more journeys with him in the future.
Wings traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, right crosswind turnout out to the north, last call, wings. Alright, so you can see that was like a real quick
36 Golf, turning base.
hit, and I'm just going to fly a little bit. So the two things I had to be a little wary of is the Class B, of course, that's always there, and the TFR. So that's why you saw me do a pretty good, hard right turn to make sure that I was not at that TFR thing. So I'm going to climb up here to 3,000, cruiser out. And again, these clouds are really moving in. My visibility is dropping, as you can see. And so, not going to fly too much longer. So I'm out of the Bravo, able to do some other stuff now.
Now, one of the things that is very scary about VFR pilots like myself are days like this when you're not cognizant of what could happen. And one of the, I think the highest fatalities is VFR pilots flying into instrument meteorological conditions, or basically when you have to fly using your instruments because you've flown inadvertently into a cloud. Now again, I probably got enough basic skills to survive being in the clouds enough to turn around and go back, but if this whole area were to get socked into the clouds, I'd be in real trouble. And so that's why I basically use decision making to not push it, to not do that cross country, because I could be getting back later and these clouds could be even lower and it could be real crazy. So aeronautical decision making saves lives, and that's exactly what went on here.
Not going on at Doylestown. So I'm just kind of putting past the airport. So the airport is actually over there to my right. And I definitely wanted to do more, but this wasn't in the cards. All right, do a little turn here. Look straight up there, Lake Nakamixon. Isn't it cool? One of my favorite places to go. Doylestown traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 10 miles north of the field, inbound from runway 23, Doylestown.
And one of the things that I have edited out is all the radio calls of people coming into the Doylestown Airport on runway 23, just like myself. There's probably like 4 or 5 people coming in from all over the place. Everybody knew the same thing that I knew, that those ceilings were about to drop. They were predicted to drop in about 3.5, maybe 4 hours. But like me, no one was taking any chances. I also heard one student that was doing some work in the pattern, and she made her last call, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, well, if there's a CFI instructing a student to basically that being the last lap in the pattern, it is time for Russ Swan to get his behind on the ground.
Doylestown traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, about 4 miles north, 4 mile final, runway 23, Doylestown. About 2 mile final for runway 23, Cessna 6086 Golf, Doylestown.
Okay, we'll stretch it out for you, and we'll be number 2.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm coming on in after a uneventful flight, but definitely informative. But you know the drill. Come selecta, music.
Down.
Doylestown, 8 Foxtrot Golf, left downwind, runway 23, Doylestown.
So as I shut everything down, I'm now safely back on the ground. And you can see, when you look out the front window there, it looks like plenty of visibility, right? But you saw what those clouds look like up above. So yeah, ADM can save your life. So at any rate, I thank you for taking this flight with me. Aeronautical decision making keeps pilots like me alive. So thank you for flying. Russ Kid, Russ can fly. I'm out. Peace.